Hello, everybody. Welcome to this podcast from Beneath the Veil Astrology. My name is Karen, and I am here today to channel this full moon energy coming here in Aries this month of October 2019. There is much to speak about today. And I wonder how all of you are feeling just even on the 3rd. When I'm actually recording this message, I'm already feeling this Pluto direct. It was like a strong, deep, woof. It sort of feels serious because it's connected to Saturn. But it is here, without a doubt, to have you make sure that you have authority over your own life, because once you have authority over your own life, the transformation that's going to take place or that has already taken place will give you that clear discernment in which way it needs to transform. And when you're fully in your authority, in your alignment, when change happens, you have an easier time to actually navigate through that transformation and change, and then actually align it and realign it in the way that it needs to be around your structures. This is all about Saturn in Capricorn and Pluto also in Capricorn, sitting right next to it and really, really bringing in that strong structure change and transformation. But with Saturn in Capricorn, it is its home sign. So Saturn is very, very strong here. So I believe this is going to be really positive structure changes on the outside world and within ourselves. The structures, these old structures, it's changing them. And with Pluto there, it really has us, especially with it going direct now, it has us feeling the depth of what needs to change and what we do not desire anymore, collectively and in our internal lives. And it is a little bit of a serious thing, because it's like when we're traveling, Jupiter in Sagittarius, in its home sign as well, we are here to change our structures so that we can live in more blessings coming in, and blessings and blessed lives, living the adventure that we came here to live. So as everything is transforming, we have these blessings coming in from Jupiter in Sagittarius. With all these planets in their home sign, Neptune in Pisces, we are really here. Mercury right now in Scorpio, it's not in its home sign, but it just came out. A Virgo, where we got clarity over our missions and our service on this planet. And then it went through Libra to where we are working towards our relationships and redoing those relationships and recreating those relationships and how relationships are. The old traditions, the old structure, and the way that relationships are. With Mars and the Sun there right now as I'm recording this, it really is about how we're going to move forward in this adventure and how we are going to create relationships, and already the relationships that we're already in, how are we going to make it an adventure as we're transforming this? Because transformation doesn't always feel good, but with Jupiter and Sag, we know there's blessings there. We can actually rise to that occasion through higher knowledge and living the adventure to where we know that that is the goal here. So now we have Venus and Mercury that's going to be in Scorpio for a long time now, for at least a few weeks. And we are definitely ready to go into that depth right now. We're working on it. We're moving in it. We're feeling it in our heart. And now we want to communicate what we want to transform, and the depths of our heart and what it really, really desires, the deepest, deepest desires. All of this is catered to this North Node in Cancer. This North Node in Cancer is all about ourselves feeling nurtured and finding our home and actually being home. Maybe you're spending more time in your home. You're feeling safer there. You're feeling more nourished. You're nourishing yourself there. Or a home could be finding your tribe with your family. Or maybe going back to your hometown. For myself, I actually came to my hometown to live like a little staycation from California back east in Ocean City, Maryland. And here I'm surrounded with so much water. And I'm also more nurtured. My family loves me unconditionally. And here I am where it's a lot easier financially. It's just beautiful sunrises, beautiful sunsets every day. And just feeling that nurturing and giving myself time to nurture myself. This is really what we're all working towards. So we're doing this adventure. We're transforming our lives with relationships, with our deepest desires. And also we want to have all that as we're feeling nurtured and safe and accepted. So now we have Neptune in its home sign as well, in Pisces. And Neptune in Pisces is where it's, to me, this is all about us really surrendering that whole Piscean age of allowing ourselves to just feel and flow with whatever it is. It almost reminds me of the Renaissance period, or that feeling of where you allow anything to be because you want to have that experience. But with the way that things are lined up here with Saturn in Capricorn and Pluto there in Capricorn, it is not about just anything goes. It is about utilizing that Neptune in Pisces to feel into what we want to create and the beauty that we want to create, and tuning in and surrendering in to the uncertainties of what we're creating and what we're transforming, to also utilize that to be creative, to utilize the Piscean, the Neptune energy into the most creative way that you can imagine. So with Neptune there, it does give us this really, really, this ability to tune in to the most creative energy, because Pisces is the most creative energy. And with Neptune there, it's ruler. It's like, okay, we can create something really, really great. Now, when we come to this next week here, the moon, the full moon, is going to be in Aries, and it's sitting conjunct right next to Chiron. And Chiron is the energy of where, especially when it's in Aries, it's at its basic level, it's feeling as if your identity is wounded. Maybe you aren't what you thought you could be. And as a collective, at a collective level, when we look at Chiron and Aries, it's like the collective of I ams of each other's selves is like, we feel like not only that we're wounded, but on the other side of it, it's like us creating the new self in that energy. To tune in to where our woundedness is in the identity. Let's face it. If we talk about years and years ago and the way that life is created, we've been controlled as people and manipulated and projected towards to create who we are, with projections of guilt, projections of, not even allowing ourselves to come fully into our own identity in that authenticity of ourselves without feeling worried about being judged. We go back to the relationships, about how we can show up as who we actually are and be accepted for that, and feel nurtured for that, and feel accepted for that. Now, when it comes to Chiron and Aries with this full moon, there is a lot of release that's going to happen. And I suggest you to take the time during this full moon, go near the water, release something that may have been in an old way of your identity. Even if it's a picture of you, the way that you used to feel or think that is not there any longer, and that you're not really trying to access it anymore. You've changed. You are changing. And this moon is going to be the perfect moon to release the old wounding of the identity of who you used to be, or who people have made you feel to be, which is not really true, because you are in your own self, and only your own experience of getting to know yourself is who that you really are. And all the projections of relationships that bring it to your to reflecting upon you of who you are may not necessarily be who you are. So when we're feeling that energy and response from people, oh, they don't really see me as valuable, or oh, they don't see my identity properly, things like that. Our job is not to feel that and try to change who we are so that we're accepted. Our job is to go into that wound. And this can be really emotional, because when you're tuning into that real, true wound of your identity, there's things in there that need to be released, but they need to be faced first. Because if you are not getting a clear discernment of yourself, of what those wounds really mean to you, how are you going to recreate them moving forward here? So there's a lot of angles when it comes into this, and I'm actually going to do another video, just a Chiron and Aries video. This is just a short video to go into this Aries full moon for you, but I want to go into Chiron and Aries, so I'm going to do another reading, because there's so many angles to this in past life energy where, people that were, their identities were actually warriors. Aries is the warrior. So, there's been a lot of my clients that I've actually attracted a lot of people with Chiron and Aries, because I do Chiron work. This is one of my special things that I've actually came upon through my own experience and my own chart. And as my studies went on and as my readings went on, thousands of clients, I've found the key to Chiron. So I'll do that video. I'll post it. It'll be a Chiron and Aries video. Now, going back to this full moon in Aries, right next to Chiron, I want us all to just tune in to where that wound is in your own identity and focus on just the feeling of it, of the wound of the identity. And recognize that feeling and that woundedness that you may feel about your identity, where does it come from? Is it true for you right now in your life? Are you getting that reflection? Or are you just feeling it because maybe you've had a past life where you have been a wounded identity? Maybe you were a warrior, or been in the army or in the Navy, or you were a warrior. And maybe you were wounded, and maybe you're feeling and remembering this wounded code that you brought back to heal this lifetime. So if it's not reflecting out, like there's literal, like if you're not getting attacked literally, it was probably a past life thing. So that's why the best thing to do here